Mother from HMP here. Grab your soda and your popcorn. Today I'm going to give you a big dose of reality. I'm going to peel back the facade of the prepping boogeyman. Are you feeling a slow burnout creeping into your prepping? Maybe finding it challenging to maintain, sustain, and all of the happy, amazing news and reports of the day? There is a reason you're feeling that way, and it's not your fault. With this video, I'm putting all preppers and preparedness channels on notice. I will start off by saying, I myself am not a bushcraft yogi, nor am I a gun yogi, nor am I a yogi of anything in particular. What I am is a 65-year-old woman who has paid attention all these years in detail. And of all the videos I've made to date, this is the one you should watch from start to finish. And it's the reason you should now subscribe to my channel. Let's get into it. Have you been going way too hard and nonstop with prepping? This will almost always lead to burnout. In the end, you may miss the simplest thing you should have been prepping for. Feeling overwhelmed, watching all the Gucci prepping channels that show you a boogeyman, then urge you to buy this widget, gadget, or service to put a stop to the boogeyman? Well, you're not alone, by a long shot. I've experienced prepping burnout, and if you haven't, you will one day. Humans, like animals, are hardwired to be alert and recognize threats. And that, my friends, is exploited regularly by the oh my god boogeyman videos and advertisements. They present you with a boogeyman, they show you how scary it is, and you become nervous or agitated. Society is designed to make you nervous. A nervous person is way more useful to retailers and sellers than a content person. One who's thoughtful and methodical in what they're doing will always make better decisions than the nervous person. Do you think people act rationally when under duress and believing something bad is coming soon? No. They act on impulse, and this will lead to making purchases well outside their means or budget, or make purchases of the wrong priority for their needs. This boogeyman tactic is used frequently and repetitively in videos and ads. You will be shown the boogeyman. Then they say, the perceived boogeyman is coming tomorrow, or did you see what this or that government just did? Then they instruct you to buy this widget now to protect yourself and your loved ones, to ensure you're not left out in the cold or the wet or the radioactive. These videos constantly start with the next big boogeyman that's coming to get you and ends with the product that slays this threat of the day. Are you seeing this? Or is everything getting lost in the sauce? Be clear with yourself in what you're doing in preparing and what you're accomplishing to be a prepared citizen. Does a video claim to safeguard you against a certain thing? Are they selling FOMO? Never use the excuse or fear of the world ending tomorrow to be the reason for going into debt. Ever seen a video that has links or codes to products where the videos urge you to take action now? Beware of these. The baseline for preparedness is a month of food and water per person and a defense mechanism. After that, it's all gravy. Get food, water, and maybe a pew. Then if you still feel the need, start expanding outward and do so at your own pace. But do not buy into the fear, the doom and gloom, or the scared shitless tactics, and do not make spur-of-the-moment purchases. Please, whatever you do, do not go into debt to buy a prep. Do not run up your credit cards to buy preps. You will regret it, and yes, I speak from experience. Media in the United States is overwhelmingly negative. There's tons of negative stories every single day. Just scroll through YouTube and see how often images of our president pops up with a caption of, "This is it, we're now." Does the content creator have their own store? Maybe a video sponsor? That's all well and good, but ask yourself, do they have my best interest at heart? Or are they just working to line their pockets or push that sponsored product? Or does the truth lie somewhere in between? For many channels and videos, I perceive this as the reality. Here is what I will urge you to do. Have 30 days of food and water, some toilet paper, and a way to keep what you have. I did a video of what you can get in the way of food for $100. That was enough food for 2 people to last over 30 days. You can buy a 264-gallon water bladder for $120. Looking at a pew, preferably one you're familiar with and know how to use, be that a wheel gun or a semi-auto, $500, $600 or so. Ladies and gentlemen, for under $1,000, you can be more prepared than 90% of the people out there. If this thing happens, then am I better off? That's the question you should be asking yourself on every prep, every purchase you make. Now the big question is, what are we preparing for? They say there's only a couple of things that are guaranteed in life: death and taxes. Perhaps. For sure no one gets out alive. And I've never met a politician that'll give up on a revenue stream. So yeah, death and taxes. But preparedness is not about absolutes, nor is it about death and taxes. It's about increasing your odds of making it through a given situation. Nothing more. Detractors and critics will tell you all that you're doing is pointless, because you'll probably get popped by an old gray beard with his vintage Mosin. There are no guarantees, so don't kid yourself. We have no idea what's coming, so why prepare at all? No one is getting out alive, right? That's not how it works. As preppers, what we are trying to do is increase our odds in a given situation. The more you prepare, the more your odds go up. So, recalibrate your thinking as to what preparedness is. What messes with a lot of new preppers is the thought of preparing for what is coming soon. Oh shit, something's coming this month, next year, it's happening soon. And if I don't have this gizmo, I'm screwed. They rationalize it and buy it, whether or not they can afford it. Then the debt cycle begins. Reality is, it's probably not coming tomorrow, or the next year, or the year after, maybe not even this decade. Every generation has their boogeyman, the thing they are afraid is coming. One day society will roll snake eyes and may even turn turtle. Preparedness is about increasing our odds of making it out the other end of whatever is upon the horizon. But increase our odds against what? Unrest and rioting in the streets? Yes. Inflation? Yes. Food shortages? Yes. Power outages? Yes. Flooding, wildfires, tornadoes? Yes, yes, and yes. We've seen that with the crazies looting and burning millions of billions of dollars of product in stores. We've seen a rush on hand sanitizer. We've seen a rush on toilet paper and paper towels. We've all seen empty shelves at Walmart. I'm sure there are some stories out there of how people used alternatives while not having enough toilet paper. I was not among them, as I had prepared. Some mornings while sitting on the pot, I snickered a bit, and still do when I think about what they must have used to wipe. So buy TB and move your butt out of the city. Done and done. Thus, the preps I mentioned earlier: food, water, a pew-pew, and toilet paper. Damn Skippy. Done it, been there, seen it, did the video on it. That should be enough said. Now that we have those basics taken care of, let's move on and delve deeper into the boogeyman of SHTF scenarios. The attitude of something big is coming soon, next week, next month, or next year. Be wary of people offering these predictions and their solutions. They can be deadly. Here are my two favorites that have occurred during my lifetime. Jim Jones of the People's Temple made predictions of a nuclear holocaust, moved his people to Guyana, where they literally drank his poisoned Kool-Aid in 1978. The Heaven's Gate cult saw the comet Hale-Bopp fly by in 1997 as the answer to their belief system. The comet came just as scientists and astronomers said it would, but it took those 39 souls with it. How about an EMP event? OMG, all electronics knocked out. Hurry! Buy a solar generator and put it in a Faraday cage or a Faraday bag. I bought a solar generator not because of an EMP event, but because of power outages during a hurricane. We experienced a week-long power outage. My fridge never stopped running. I had lights when needed. Laundry stacked up a bit, but I also have a couple of gas propane generators. One of them is nearly 20 years old and still works just fine. How about an end of the world nuclear attack? Do you have a gut feeling this is near? Your gut feeling is not a good indicator of what's to come. It's basically an astrology sign, a horoscope, or fortune in the newspapers, and has equivalent value. At my age, good advice upon seeing that bright flash of light might be to put my head between my legs and kiss my ass goodbye. Now that's not to say I'll lay down gently. I plan to go out as I came in, kicking and screaming and fighting all the way. But am I preparing for that scenario? Not really. How about I can say with 100% certainty that our economy is a mess. Inflation is here, and prices on goods are increasing faster than most people's income. Some companies feel that 3% per annum for a wage increase is sufficient. I call shenanigans on that. In 2022, inflation was 8%. Will the world's reserve currency, the dollar, be replaced with a new one? Damn skippy it will, but when is the issue? If we knew or could predict it, we'd all be filthy rich, right? So when? Someday, but not today, and not tomorrow, and not next year, or the year after. Yes, the dollar may not be the world's reserve currency 10 or 20 years from now, but the new BRICS currency is not replacing the dollar as the world's reserve this year or next year. They might be releasing their gold-backed currency this month on August. There are numerous videos out there saying gold and silver will 10x or 100x or more. Then they drop that link to where to buy gold and silver at. Yeah, do you feel me? We'll see how it shakes out. Maybe it will replace the dollar as the world's reserve in 10, 15, or 20 years from now. The dollar is losing its hegemony. Yes, I can see it, as well as feel it, just as assuredly as the U.S. government is $32 trillion in debt, and now going in debt by an additional $2 trillion plus a year now. Did you go vote last election? If not, sit down. You're a spectator, not a participant. The U.S. government's debt is growing at an astounding rate. Should this concern us? Damn skippy it should. So what do? I changed currencies. I changed what dollars I could in silver and gold. But I'm not here to tell you or sell you on who you should buy gold or silver from. How many prepping videos have you watched where someone is trying to sell you gold or silver? I believe in both, and I've bought many an ounce. But I'm not here to sell you either, but rather suggest that you should own some as a hedge against inflation. I first bought silver at $8 an ounce. Silver is now what, 25? I've tripled my money. And I'm not flexing here, just stating the fact that gold and silver are good hedges against inflation. That's not a prediction, as I can show you 100 years of data on it. I have never regretted buying either. So that's a prep I can do. I balance my prepping now much more so than when I started. Prepping, after all, is a big balancing act. What to buy, what to learn, how much to get. That's why we watch the videos, to learn something to fill in our knowledge gaps. I'm still the same animal I was when I started prepping, but I've learned. I've become older and wiser. Reality is, you have no idea what is coming. My generation lived through the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Vietnam War, the gas crisis of '73 and again in 1979, amid the collapse and bailouts of the banks in 2008. Stock market dips in 97, 2000, 2008, 2015, 2018. Beatlemania. I watched The Miracle on Ice. I dialed rotary phones. I saw TV channels sign off at midnight. I watched the first season of Saturday Night Live. And the only place I put tinfoil on was my TV antennas. Hell, in my younger days, I was the TV remote for my father. I always had a dime in my pocket. I used payphones when I wanted to call someone. I remember where I was when JFK and MLK were assassinated. And I'm still standing. Sad enough said? It sure should be. Why? Because I've been around the block and back. But you're watching the Prepper channel with the 20-something or 30-something-year-old person telling you how to prep and what to buy? Or telling you about this boogeyman that might come out soon? The end of the world predictions are not worth their salt. I've lived for over 65 years now and listened to numerous Nostradamus followers uttering and spewing his predictions. Again, not worth their salt. Fun reading if quatrains is your thing. Will one day an asteroid come again like the one that killed the dinosaurs? Yes, I'm pretty sure of it. The universe is a big place, and it happened at least once already. An asteroid could be on its way to hit us 10,000 years from today as easily as next month, just as it could be in the next 100 years. So why sweat that? Am I going to buy preps for that? Nope. Will the Yellowstone caldera erupt like it did over 500,000 years ago? That's a long, uncertain cycle between eruptions. Recent scientific data says there's more magma underneath Yellowstone than previously known. Yes, I believe it will erupt someday. I've been to Yellowstone. I've seen the hot pools and the geysers. I sat in awe when Old Faithful spewed forth. Reality is, Mother Nature always wins. Because we have no idea what's coming or when it's coming. Fears played out by many a YouTuber, especially those that link to the items that you can instantly purchase and prepare you for the threat they just mentioned. SHTF predictions are just as good as your horoscope in the newspaper. Take notice and beware when you hear just as good. Oh my God, I saw the clickbait titles and listened to the crap inside those videos. And some of them have hundreds of thousands of views? WTF, I ask myself. I've watched a lot of stuff on Russia and Ukraine. It's been over 18 months now, and in that time there's been how many predictions of World War III? And nuke attacks next week or within days, urging you to buy your Geiger counter now. Get your hazmat suit. Buy your respirator today. Use this code for 10% off. There's the bit that got me. A Geiger counter. Should you go out and get one? Are you thinking nuclear war? The Cuban Missile Crisis came in 1962, and everyone's ass puckered in the United States, and there was ample reason for it. The Russians had nukes in Cuba. So a good Geiger counter will cost you $400 to $500. Hazmat suit is $400 or so, and a good CBRN gas mask with filter is $400 plus. Now, A Geiger counter will not help protect you against anything. Will it tell you radiation levels? Yes, it will. So I guess if you have an underground bunker, buku food and water, medicine, supplies, hazmat suits, mirror respirators with NBC filters, a decontamination shower, yada yada yada, do you catch my drift? That's when you buy a Geiger counter. After you have all of that, a Geiger counter is purchased to let you know when it's safe to come out of your hole. Other than that, why would you want one? Oh, you watched the video where the person says, I only have 100 of these left in stock, and they're the ones you need. Heard that? Watched the video, didn't buy the Geiger counter. Is a Geiger counter on my list? Yes, it is, but way down the list, right where it belongs. But, and there's a big but here, if you think nuclear war is coming, then why are you still living in the northern hemisphere? There's a reason Gates, Musk, Bezos, and other moneyed people are buying land in New Zealand. If I need to explain it to you, I'll do a video on that. In the last 5 years, we have seen toilet paper shortages, rioting and looting in the cities, natural disasters growing like wildfires. Hell, Canada's a freaking inferno. So, maybe a respirator is a good idea if your area is experiencing smoke from those fires. Then I might spend a few more dollars and get a CBRN respirator. It would have dual or multiple usages. So here we go. India recently banned exports of non-basmati white rice to help keep their domestic prices in check. I would assume our prices on rice will go up, considering India produced about 40% of the world's white rice. The day I heard this, I checked rice prices at Walmart, and it was $11 for 20 pounds of rice. A couple of days later, I was shopping, bought a 20-pound bag, and paid $14 for it. It is what it is. I will end with this. I will never say that something isn't coming. There is probably and most likely something coming at some point. Some things I've learned with time is don't sweat the small stuff, and especially don't sweat the things you cannot possibly change. There's nothing wrong with upgrading your gear or chasing the diminishing return. Preparedness is all about increasing your odds of surviving and building upon the survival plan you laid out for yourself. Thanks for watching this rather lengthy piece. You might as well subscribe now. See you next time. I've got miles to go before I sleep.